I kind of just wanted to revisit this article, this Daily Mail article written by Emily Andrews about the Tatler's Kate Middleton controversy and how William and Kate had threatened to sue Tatler for the article they wrote about Kate, titled Kate the Great, right? Because I'm trying to understand, what makes these people, like, what's their tipping point? The Kensington Palace posse. It's like, what's their tipping point? Like, what are they not prepared to put up with? Like, what did this woman really say that was so horrible? So, because we know we have the Pasternak, Anna Pasternak, who wrote the article. She came out swinging a few days ago about basically just how corrupt the relationship between the royal family and the British print media is. And so I wanted to sort of revisit and deconstruct the takedown, the quote unquote takedown by Emily Andrews against Pasternak. So it says here Tatler has cut huge swathes of its online profile of the Duchess of Cambridge. Okay. And in particular, cruel and snubby barbs at Kate's mother, Carol Middleton, and her sister, Pippa. Okay. And it says here that, you know, apparently Pasternak had written that Kate, who was 38 at the time, felt exhausted and trapped following Harry and Meghan's decision to step back from royal life, and that she was perilously thin, like Princess Diana, and had even consulted psychics with William. I mean, first of all, let's just blame everything on Harry and Meghan. I mean, Meghan was not in the royal family a full year. How can she be so weighty and so responsible for Kate's exhaustion and being trapped? What does Meghan have to do with it? You know, Meghan was not there for, you know, all these years that Kate was in the family. Meghan just arrived. She's a newcomer. Why does her not being there anymore after 1 year result in Kate feeling exhausted? That's itself was so ridiculous, wasn't it? But perilously thin. I mean, saying that Kate is perilously thin, Kate has always been very thin. Um, what are they saying that that's not true? Why would you have to retract that? I mean, if she's thin, and she is thin. She's always been thin. And unless the reason that she's thin is a controversy in and of itself that they don't want to get into, they don't want to open up that Pandora's box, because I do think she's always been rather thin. Would you not concur? Would you not concur? Right. So why did this woman have to retract that? Um, then it says here, the only reference Tatler has made to the climb down is a sentence at the end of the piece saying it had been edited. It says here, the erased paragraphs include claims that William was obsessed with mother-in-law Kate, 65, who is a terrible snob, and they also said that Pippa is too regal and try hard. I don't see how that's true, because if William is so obsessed with Kate Middleton, right, whatever that even means, I don't know what they're getting at with that, but then why did he leave her out in the cold and leave her business to perish? Why didn't he help her by paying for her bills, to prevent bankruptcy, even if it was a loan? He's sitting on $1 billion fortune. She owes her solicitors £300,000. She owes her creditors about 2 million. He's on a $1 billion fortune. right? That's 1,000 million, right? At a minimum, my math was never that great, but I think a billion is 1,000 million, and all what she needs is 2 million, and he's so obsessed that he couldn't help her. I don't think that's true. I don't think he's obsessed. I mean, unless he loves money more than her, which I guess is possible. Um, but yeah, I just think that the idea that William was obsessed with Kate Middleton's mother, I'm not I'm not buying it. I don't know what that even means. So like I don't know what they're getting at with that. Um, so apparently one of the claims that most angered the Cambridges, at that time Kate and William were the Cambridges, was the comparison of perilously thin Kate to Princess Diana, who famously suffered with eating disorders throughout her life. Yeah, I think it's that whole, risk that people will think Kate has an eating disorder that made them so angry. But in light of everything that has happened recently, okay, I understand that Kate came out and said that cancer had been found and so on and so forth. But um, even before she came out with the cancer, UK journalists, including reptilian royal experts, the posse of reptilian royal experts, and one of them in particular had said something to the effect of, "Will this will be familiar to William because because of Diana." So I think they all believe that Kate has an eating disorder. I mean, this is my sense is that all of these experts believe that Kate has an eating disorder. I don't know whether she does or not. I have no idea. I never met the woman. I've never seen her eat or not eat. I don't know. But prior to her coming out and saying that cancer had been present, not that she has cancer, but that cancer had been present and that she's now on preventative chemotherapy, which to me means she does not have cancer. Even the royal experts who are pro Kate were hinting that she has an eating disorder in 2024. This is something that was mentioned by this woman in 2020. Why did they want her to retract that on a threat of lawsuit unless there's some kind of truth to it? I'm asking a question. I'm not saying there is. I'm saying it would be consistent with there being some kind of truth to it if you're going to sue for something like this because, you know, you know what I mean? It's kind of weird, really. And in light of everything, I don't see why this journalist had to retract something if in fact it's true, you know. At the time, a royal source said that that is such an extremely cruel and wounding barb. It's disgusting. It's sexist and woman shaming at its worst. It's like I think you oh how did they say that? I think that the lady doth protest too much, or the gentleman, whoever was protesting here. This is a very strong protest to say that Kate is perilously thin, because the woman did not say that she, she had an eating disorder. She just said that she's perilously thin, like Princess Diana, and they went to town with it and saying it's extremely cruel and a wounding barb. It's disgusting. It's sexist and woman shaming at its very worst. This is a very strong retort. This is like overly strong. It's too much protest, really, for what the woman said. Because the fact of the matter is, Kate is perilously thin. She is perilously thin, right? And whatever the reason for that, it is. But I mean, if you're perilously thin, you're perilously thin. You could be perilously fat, right? Some people are. Exhibit one is me over here. What am I going to do about it, right? I wish my big problem was that I was perilously thin, to tell you the truth. So I don't see why that had to be retracted. So they have a very low threshold for being pissed off, and when you consider what they are allowing journalists to write about Meghan and Harry, you really, and once again, like I said in the video prior to this one, You can only shake your head, right? I mean, that is extremely cruel and wounding barb. Do they understand what extremely cruel and wounding barbs look and sound like? It's disgusting. Do you understand disgusting? Try what Jeremy Clarkson said about what Brits should do to Megan, right? It's sexist and woman shaming at its very worst. I mean, Megan held her baby bump and look at all the things she said. She ate an avocado and look at all the things they said about her. They called her a yacht girl when this woman was not the one on the yacht with William and his friends. I mean, among other things. Nobody has said anything about all of those things they said about Megan, but look at this, right? It's extremely cruel and a wounding barb. It's disgusting. It's sexist and woman shaming at its very worst. Well, if that's what they sued about, then it says Meghan and Harry really should have sued Jeremy Clarkson and the Sun or whoever wrote that article. The piece is full of lies. There's no truth. This is what they continue to say in the article. To their claim that the Duchess feels overwhelmed with work, nor that the Duke is obsessed with Carol Middleton. It's preposterous. Oh, I don't know about that. I mean, why would the Duke be obsessed with Carol Middleton? What does that mean? And clearly, it's not true because if he was obsessed, he would have paid her bills for her. That's what men do with women they are obsessed with. The whole thing is class snobbery. Okay. The whole thing is class snobbery. So, I mean, so they're saying that it's not true that Kate feels overwhelmed with work. I don't know. I don't know, right? So then they said Pippa tries too hard. I mean, I don't know Pippa, but I mean, they're saying that she's paranoid about the paparazzi. I don't know because she was just on a holiday in St. Bart's and she had like a two-page spread and it seemed that she knew she was being photographed. She wasn't being shy. So I don't really know. Um, so they apparently took out entire sections of the article in Tatler and just erased entire paragraphs. So what it said, for example, what it said, yet privately said another friend, Kate is furious about the larger workload caused by Harry and Meghan quitting. Of course, she's smiling and dressing appropriately, but she doesn't want this. She feels exhausted and trapped. She's working as hard as a top CEO who has to be wheeled out all the time without the benefit of boundaries and plenty of holidays. And to be honest, I mean, before she called in sick and, went into the hospital in January, I mean, they did have her out there almost on a daily basis doing all kinds of wacko appearances. I think one time she even went to a jail. They even had her visiting a jail. And correct me if I'm wrong, I seem to remember this. And it was just like so much. And one time they had her cooking a pancake or something, and but she just epically effed up the pancake or whatever it was. And they just have her constantly running around like a rag doll. And that was, you know I would say the last year or so. I mean, really, she has been out there like a rag doll. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if she was exhausted. But she put on her pantsuits, and she was trying to change her image from just going to hospitals and shaking hands to doing more interesting things, having little picnics in the park with school children and, you know, giving us a little show of her tennis game. And, she was doing a lot. She was just constantly, constantly doing stuff. Of course, she's going to be totally exhausted. This video is going to be way too long, but I'm not going to be able to save this video. But it says here that what it said. It's been a rapid ascent for a girl born into an upper middle class family in Reading. She and her siblings attended Marlborough thanks to their parents' thriving mail order business, and while there she had a poster of William. Well, we know that is not true. I mean, her parents' mail order business was not thriving. I mean, well, I don't know, but it seems like I think I recall they just filed bankruptcy, right? And that they can't even pay the solicitor. So how can it be true that they had this thriving business? Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't know. I'm just saying that personally, I had a different understanding. So, but why would they want to sue her over something like that? I mean, because if they have a thriving business, they have a thriving business. I mean, so that was what it said before. Now it says that reference to the Prince William poster, which Kate had previously denied, has been erased. So they're suing because the writer said that Kate had a poster of William in her room. This is the level of stuff that upsets these people to the point of threatening a lawsuit. That the woman said that Kate had a poster of William in her room. This upsets them to the point that they mention it for a lawsuit. Wow. Well, I guess now I can understand when Megan said Kate became upset when Megan not only said she had baby brain, but there was something else that she got upset with Megan. What was it? Megan said that um oh my gosh, I can't remember, but there was something really petty. It was not just a baby brain. Well, anyway, if I think of it, I will come back to it because I don't want to have to stop this tape. But she seems, oh, something about her hormones. And Kate was like, you don't have the right to talk about my hormones because we don't know each other. So Kate seems to be really, yeah, self-absorbed. She's really all about her importance. She's very self-important and just really, haughty. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you're all the way down there. Don't you dare talk about my hormones, right? Don't you dare even look at me. That's the sense I get from the way she comes off in, from these first person narratives or, you know, impressions of her is that, she's very, very hyper touches and hypersensitive. I mean, she has a picture on a wall. She has a picture on a wall. What's there to sue about something like that? How do you include that as one of the things you're suing about? Um, then the other part here is that it says that William is obsessed with Carol. She's the mommy he always wanted, yet it's Carol with what some call her hyacinth bucket aspirations of grandeur, who, rumor has it, puts people's backs up in a way Kate does not. Yeah, so I mean, now Carol is bankrupt, and it must be very embarrassing to be if this is all true to act with your highest in bucket aspirations da, 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 and then you're filing bankruptcy. But what is really puzzling is that if William was so upset with her, why didn't he offer to help Carol Middleton pay off these bills? It doesn't make sense. And yeah, so this goes on and on. I mean, what do I actually think about it? I don't even know at this point. I think that these two are hypocrites, honestly. And, their hypersensitivity when it affects them tells me that they really intentionally sat by and watched Megan be pulled over the tracks, and they hoped that the train would run over her and crush her and there would be nothing left. They intentionally remained silent, and yeah, they intentionally fed things to the media, as the media itself has said, to demolish Megan. And then they fell on their own swords, you see. So now it kind of looks like, you know, it's even a question whether they'll be able to ascend the throne. And basically they can thank themselves as far as I'm concerned.